name is Kevin Fernandez and welcome to my channel, Gamers Genie. Today I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite movies, specials, and other various forms of visual entertainment that I like to do around Halloween. Now, why am I doing this on September, you ask? Well, I always do a Halloween themed thing around September, so that way you yourself can probably look up this stuff on your computer, go on like Amazon or Netflix or whatever you're using to watch your stiff, and then you could do that yourself. Now I do want to point this out. All the videos that all the movies and stuff that I'm going to talk about, I'm going to say that these are movies that I've watched extensively for at least 3 years. That's my cutoff time. So unfortunately, even though I have seen like Nightmare on Elm Street as well as Halloween, I cannot put these on my list as I have only seen them for 1 year. Hopefully one day I can do that, but we'll just have to wait and see. But without that, okay, so number 10 is The Halloween Tree by Hanna-Barbera. Well, that's what the thing is. That animated is like, I believe Ray Bradbury is the author. That's based off of a book. Anyways, I do love Halloween Tree. I think it's a pretty fun thing. Teaches people about like different like traditions as well. And it's very beautifully animated for a Hanna-Barbera project. Usually Hanna-Barbera kind of cheaps out. That's what they're known for, being cheap. But yeah, this one's really good. It's really fun. I've been watching it ever since it premiered on Cartoon Network. I do wish that they would update it in some sort of a format where you can watch it in like 4K or I guess 8K now. I don't know. I don't keep up with the technologies of the youth today. But I do love this. I'm not going to go into that much detail about the story. If you guys haven't seen it, I do recommend you check it out. But it's really about like these kids. They have a tradition going trick-or-treating with their little group. And one of them is sick. And they have to go with Mr. Mountroud to discover all this stuff and hopefully save their friend too. It's a really good movie. I really enjoy it. And it's got a lot of Halloween themes to it. It's also very fun for kids, and it's got some scary moments though. It's got some scary moments, but there's nothing that like does any jump scares or anything like nowadays. It's all about ambiance. The ambiance of the film really does show off Halloween. So yeah, number 10, The Halloween Tree. Okay, number 9 is It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown by Charles Schulz. This one, for me and for my wife, we watch it every year. We do have a son on the way, and we're hoping that we can share this tradition. A lot of people watch Charlie Brown stuff, especially around Christmas, because Christmas Charlie Brown is the most famous one, but It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown is a great Halloween one. I do love the sequences of Snoopy pretending he's a World War I fighting ace going up against the Red Baron. And like for a while it does kind of have like that desolate, like war-torn country. And then it kind of folds over into reality. That's always really fun. And of course, however, unlike Christmas, unfortunately, the other kids don't really pick on Charlie Brown that much. You would think this is the one time of year where they would relentlessly pick on him because they're allowed to. However, they were a little more nicer to him on Halloween than they were in Christmas. Go figure. It's really fun. It's a really fun video to watch. I feel like any age can enjoy this. It's really enjoyable. So number 9, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Okay, so number 8 is a Garfield Halloween. This one it was actually taken from, I believe it was taken from the original Garfield show, and they made a special like secluded episode of it. it's like Garfield, is going trick-or-treating with Odie, and they come across this old man, and he says, like, there's ghost pirates coming back for revenge to get their gold and everything. It's really fun, really enjoyable. There's a lot of fun scenes about it. You can check it out on YouTube. I definitely know they have a lot of Garfield stuff on YouTube. Plus, it's Garfield, voiced by Lorenzo Music. He's really good. Naturally, I do feel like a lot of the people who voiced Garfield did a great job. I think Lorenzo Music really gave us the voice that we think of when we read the comics and everything like that. Frank Walker, he did a good job at kind of impersonating that. And honestly, Bill Murray, he did a pretty good job too, voicing Garfield. And I feel like if they just made him like Garfield, it would have been a great movie. But unfortunately, it wasn't. He was very high energy. Which was the main problem, and I haven't seen that one, the newest one, but I don't know. Chris Pratt as Garfield just it doesn't interest me. They got away with it on Mario, but I'm like, Garfield is where you was where I draw the line. But anyways, this one's a really nice one that I like to watch every year around Halloween. I do have I just want to point out, I do have a honorable mention, but I will point it out when I get to number 1. Okay, so anyways, but for now, number 8 is Garfield Halloween. Okay, so number 7 is Coraline. I do apologize if my voice is going in and out with the raspiness. Like I said in my my video earlier this week about the second gameplay of Ahoy, I'm getting over a cold, so I am going to be sounding a little raspy every now and then. If you guys want me to repeat anything in the comments, just let me know, and I'll totally repeat that. But it's Coraline. So Coraline is a good movie, and I have a little bit of a pattern. These are all mostly animated films, and that's because I do love animated films. I love animation. I think I'm a big fan of the director of Coraline, as are a lot of us. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who like Nightmare Before Christmas. I know there's a lot of people who like, Kubo of the Two Strings, the Box Trolls, like that style. I don't think they're all directed by the same guy, but I don't know how you guys all felt about Wendell and Wild. I thought it was pretty good. Had a pretty creepy vibe to it. But anyways, Coraline is just another one of those lineups of stuff where it's a kids movie, but they're allowed to be It's allowed to be scary. I have no clue how they made that in, early 2000s, I believe. I believe Coraline's an early 2000s movie, when so many kids were being coddled to death by stuff like that. But this is a legitimately scary movie. I don't really recommend you play it for like maybe 1 to 4 year olds, maybe 4. But you guys know your kids, and you know yourself. Some people, I do know there are some adults who cannot watch movies like Coraline. They cannot. But then there's somebody who can put on like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and be fine. That's just, everybody knows how they're built. Handle what you can handle. But to me, Coraline is a beautifully creepy movie. I love it. I love how creepy it is, actually. Even when she's in like this nice fairy tale like Wonderland, I like how creepy and unsettling and uneasy it is from basically the start, because you already feel like there's something wrong. I think it was the book was done by Neil Gaiman, so that's why it's got that uneasy feeling. Neil Gaiman is really good at giving you that unease. He is a phenomenal author. I've read a lot of his stuff. Of course, we got Sandman, we got season 2 coming up. Ooh, kind of excited about that. But anyways, Coraline, beautifully animated, and it's got one of my favorite voice actors, Keith David, who voiced Goliath. He voiced a lot of other characters as well. he always uses the same voice because, let's face facts, he's one of those guys who has an awesome voice, like the late, oh gosh, James Earl Jones, like the late great James Earl Jones. Sorry, told you, getting over a cold, brain farts. I'm gonna have them. I think the voice cast is great. This is the one movie with Dakota Fanning where I'm like, where I actually like the main character, which is who Dakota Fanning plays. I usually don't like her films. I guess it's because of like she's played too innocent or too mature. She's always playing too innocent or too mature. I always felt like that was one of her major flaws of her movies. Or sometimes some odd combination of both. But I like how in Coraline she's allowed to be a kid, like a bratty, selfish kid who doesn't really care about anybody else. And I think she does a good job at it. I've never really seen her in that kind of a role, and I think she does a great job of it. So yeah, number 7 is Coraline. Okay, so number 6. If you are an early 2000s kid and you watch Halloween stuff, this one definitely is probably a walk down memory lane for you. There was a lot of these that I want, but I wanted at least one Disney Channel original movie on here, and that is Halloween Town. Now, I got a confession. Remember how I said that there's different people who can handle different things? Halloween Town scared the ever-loving bejesus out of me. It was one of the scariest things I ever watched when I was a kid, until I saw Return to Oz, and then there was nothing else that was scarier than that. But yeah, Halloween Town was, to me, legitimately scary. Now revisiting as an adult, it's kind of goofy, it's kind of silly, but it's got some scares. I feel like the second one was a little more scarier than the first one. But Halloween Town's a very good, a good movie. It's about Marnie, who discovers that she is a witch in a family of great witches. Honestly, this, let's face facts, I know it sounds like Harry Potter and a lot of other things that you've probably read or seen in the past, but I swear when this came out, this was a new concept. This wasn't like this was like a newish concept. It wasn't like something that they were just it wasn't done as to death as it is today. But she discovers that she's a witch and she can learn, and she's part of like the greatest magical family in all of Halloween Town. And naturally she rebels and everything, and then of course at the end of the day they all learn to kind of get along, and she gets to be a witch full time. Now the reason why I'm okay with spoiling a lot of this is because I definitely know there's a lot of people who watch this one, so I feel a little comfortable. But if you did not, sorry about that. Should have put a spoiler alert, my bad. But I do like this one. It's oddly enough for a Disney Channel original movie. They got some pretty good acting talent in there. Debbie Reynolds is in that movie. That probably wasn't cheap. Now, I only wanted to talk about the first Halloween Town movie. And I will talk about her family more than just the mom and the grandma. And by the way, I will refer to everybody by their titles, not by their names, because I cannot remember. Outside of Agatha and Marnie, I cannot remember the rest of the characters' names. Because the only thing that came off to me for a lot of these characters' names is, one second, is the traits. Like, I remember the mom is annoying. All she says is no because she's so wrapped around her own ego. So annoying. And then the brother, again, he's egotistical. He's got a smart mouth. He tattles a lot, and he feels like smug about it. I don't know. There's a lot of times with the brother where in every single Halloween Town movie, I always just want to reach into the screen and punch him in the face because he's so annoying. The little sister's fine. She's the little sister. I mean, I do like how they kind of try to make her a little more better, and she doesn't just get a character trait. I know in the first one, she's just that cute kid. You know the cute kid, like the Olsen twins, the Raven Simones. You know, those kids that are there just to be cute and adorable and spout out catchphrases and stuff. But you know, it's kind of nice that not only did the little sister, you know, she's not just a catchphrase machine, but she also managed to, you know, help save the day a couple times in these movies. So I do appreciate that. I like how it's, I like that. Plus, I don't know, it might just be me and from dealing with all this CGI stuff, but the makeup's not that bad. The makeup and costuming is not that bad. Mind you, the props do look like a little dollar store. But other than that, it's a really fun movie to watch around Halloween. So number 6 is Halloween Town. Okay, so number 5 is Hotel Transylvania. Do I even need to mention what the plot is? Of course, naturally the plot is, you know, Mavis, Dracula, is trying to want to go out and see the world and everything, and you know, she falls in love with a human named Johnny. I'm not even going to bother with spoiler warnings. I think a lot of people have seen this movie. You know, it's a fun movie. It's really great. The one part that I like cringe a little bit is the ending of the movie where they do a dance party. I don't know why, but whenever I see a movie doing a dance party, you ever know when your parents try to go to a dance, but they don't, to chaperone or something like that, but they don't just stand off into the side and just make sure everybody's safe and having a good time. No, they join in, they dance too, and they do like the most weird, embarrassing dance. That's what those dance parties are like in all these movies. It just feels so embarrassing because it just feels like that stupid attempt for the studio to say, hey, look, we're cool. We understand what the kids are into. We're hip, we're funky, fresh, we're down with it. That is what that always feels like to me. So every time I see that ending in Hotel Transylvania, I just kind of fold down in my seat and I start putting my hand over my head like my parents are there to embarrass me. But all in all, I can look past it because I think it's really well written. I think it's really well animated. For the first one, for the second one, yeah, I do agree with a lot of people what they say about it. The sequels seem to... It's so weird because when a movie is successful, usually they get an upgrade and everything. It's like with Hotel Transylvania, the studio gives it a downgrade, which is so weird to me. But anyways, I think the cast is pretty funny. I think... The chemistry that all the actors, where they work off each other, I think it's great. Well, most of them are Happy Madison people, so, you know, they've done a lot of movies with each other before, so they can all work off each other very well. But I like for, you know, like Selena Gomez, who doesn't really work with a lot of these people, she was able to work off of a lot of them, just like how they all kind of worked off of each other. So yeah, number 5, Hotel Transylvania. Okay, so number 4 is Disney's Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Now, the reason why Disney's Legend of Sleepy Hollow is on that, and I know a lot of people staring at this on their screen, rolling their eyes. Now, before you exit out of this video, Legend of Sleepy Hollow is one of the scariest versions of Sleepy Hollow. Probably even the most accurate version of this from the book, from the actual story that we got. All the other versions are just some sort of person's interpretation of the thing. This one is like a legitimate adaptation from Disney. I mean, let's face facts. This is the company that doesn't do the original Grimm's fairy tales. So it's really weird to see how they went that accurate. But I guess Walt just felt like the story in itself was so great, there's no need to make that many changes. I don't know how many changes they made, if they made any. But I think it's a great adaptation, and I think the animators did a great job when the Headless Horseman starts chasing Ichabod Crane around the forest. I think it's very intense, I think it's very dark, and I love the usage of colors and everything like that. It is one of my favorite movies to watch. It still scares me to this day as an adult, but I will watch it every year. Number 4, Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Okay, so number 3, and some people might not like me for this, but I'm going with Sam Raimi's Evil Dead. I do like it. I like the use of practical effects. I like the usage of how a lot of people were actually getting hurt. Naturally, they're fine. But you know, I like it. I think the atmosphere. I always feel like the one thing that modern horror films lack is a building of atmosphere. Not many of them build up the atmosphere. They just want to get you to the scares as quick as possible. I think Evil Dead does a good job with the Sam Raimi's Evil Dead does a good job with the building it up. I don't know about the remake. I don't know if the remake actually does that good of a job of building up the scares. I know about the drug addiction and everything like that. But, you know, and how it makes you feel like that they might just be hallucinating from coming down from all that stuff. That being said, I'm just a big Sam Raimi fan in general. I've seen a lot of his movies. This is one that I've watched like several Halloweens now, usually by myself, because I know my dad can't handle like that kind of gore, and my wife definitely can't handle that kind of stuff. This one's one I watch by myself. And yes, I do watch Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness as well. So yeah, it's one that I started watching a couple years back. It did hit my wall though, so I do get to talk about it. Well, you know, it got to the point where it made it where I've watched it enough times where the deadline's not affected by it. So yeah, number 3, Sam Raimi's Evil Dead. Okay, so number 2 is the 90s Addams Family movie. And throw in Addams Family values in there too. I love the Addams Family. I love the 60s TV show. I love the 90s. I love the 90s films a lot. I tolerate the first animated film that they did, and I loathe the second one. That's my feelings on that. I love the cartoons. Not the very first one, the second one. To me, the Addams Family is always best when you have when they're in their environment and the rest of the world is reacting to their environment. I do not like it, as well as a lot of other Addams Family fans will point out. It is so weird and uncomfortable when you take the Addams Family out of their environment and put them into the real world and put them into like the normal, average, everyday world and have the world react to them through going on vacation and stuff. It should work a little bit, but it never does. They've tried it twice now. It doesn't work. Stop making them go on vacation. They're squatters. Well, they're not squatters, but you know, they're better in their environment. And I feel like no product of Addams Family really pushes this than the 90s film. Than the 90s films. The Barry Sonnenfeld, the Sonnenfeld films. I believe it's Sonnenfeld. Barry Sonnenfeld. These movies are great. They have a lot of dark atmosphere. I feel like this is a lot more closer to what Charles Addams had in mind when they were making the 60s show. When I was a kid, I didn't know how I felt about Christopher Lloyd being cast as Uncle Fester. Now, here's the thing, though. I've never known Lloyd in anything else other than The Addams Family. That's how I was actually introduced to Christopher Lloyd as an actor. I just didn't like that weird gaspy voice he did with the role. But now that I'm older, I kind of appreciate it more. I might have the nostalgia goggles on a bit, but I do like it. I like how he can be really creepy. And to me, Uncle Fester was the... But the thing is, Fester was always that balance between creepy and goofy. And I do feel like Lloyd does it in his own unique way. I don't think he completely copies the original actor who played the part, and I don't want him to, because I feel like every single actor who has portrayed this family really brings something new to the table. Like, for example, this is the one where I feel like these movies are the ones where if you watch The Addams Family today, that emotionless, bland doll called we call Wednesday Addams, that was not created in the 60s show. That was created during the 90s films. Christina Ricci was the one who really personified that, emotionless reaction to everything, where she almost seems bored with everything. Which Jenna Ortega, in my opinion, did a flawless interpretation of the character. I also like how she added that she doesn't blink. I feel so sorry for all these actresses who keep adding all these things, because it seems like the stuff they add to that character, it's just torturous. By the time she probably won't even move. But anyways, I feel like this is one of my favorite movies. For those of you who don't know, in this one, it's they're trying to get scammed by their financial advisor to get a lot of money because he's in a lot of debt. I do find it's funny how it's an old woman who is the debt collector, and not it's usually these two big guys. One of them's usually named Rocco or something like that. But I like how, it's just this seemingly kindly old woman who's the person trying to threaten him. And they work out this scheme to try to take away all the Addams money. And there's a line in there that I love when they're selling when Pugsley and Wednesday are trying to help out their family by opening a lemonade stand. That's what a lot of kids do when their parents are in financial trouble. When they feel their parents are in financial trouble, they want to help out. They open up a lemonade stand. And I like how this Girl Scout says, "Are these made from, real lemons? I only eat or drink organic, naturally grown stuff because my body's a temple," very arrogant and annoying. And then she says, "I will make you a deal. I will have one of your lemonades if you buy one of my delicious Girl Scout cookies." And then Wednesday, Christina Ricci, without missing a beat, goes, "Are they made from real Girl Scouts?" I have a weird sense of humor. I just love these movies so much. So yeah, number 2 is Addams Family, and slightly Addams Family values as well. Okay, before I announce number 1, here are a couple of my honorable mentions. Number 1 is Beetlejuice. I do watch this, but I do watch it very frequently all year long because I cannot wait until Halloween to watch that movie again. I just love it too much. But number 2 is, again, brain fart, sorry about that. Halloween is Grinch Night. I like this one. I like the animation. Of course, it's Dr. Seuss. It's that weird Dr. Seuss animation that we all love. If you haven't seen that one, I do recommend you check it out. It's really fun, as well as, if you haven't seen Beetlejuice, check that one out too. Unless you like spending a lot of time on Twitter, you might not like it. But anyways, now it's time for number 1, Universal monster movies. And now, when I say that, I mean the old black and white monster movies. I love, like, Bela Lugosi, you know, oh gosh, brain fart. I love Bela Lugosi as Dracula. I thought about talking about his film, but I like Dracula, I like Frankenstein, I like The Wolfman, I like Bride of Frankenstein. Phantom of the Opera was really good. You know, these are all really good films before, you know, Universal tried to remake them and failed miserably. These are great movies. I have like a complete collection on Blu-ray. Creature of the Black Lagoon, in my opinion, is not my favorite one out of all of them. It's interesting, but I feel like it's just a monster. And oddly enough, it's boring. I like these films that they're like, you know, they're tragedies, you know. The monster wants to be part of civilization a lot of the times, but they can't because, you know, they're different. I like The Mummy. Mummy was a really good movie. Boris Karloff, great actor. And as a bonus, I also like Abbott and Costello Meets Frankenstein. This has a lot of the actors from those movies that they have interacting with two famous comedians of that time. In kind of a, it's not a parody. It's not really a parody because the monsters get to be the monsters. But it's just like a more comedic tone of the reaction instead of like a scream. It's like an overreaction, like frantically moving and everything. It's really funny. It's really enjoyable. You know, these movies are like classics. I know that Universal is making like a whole land dedicated to Universal Monsters, the Dark Universe. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, number one is the Universal Monster movies. Well, that's all. That is my top 10 favorite movies to watch around Halloween. If you have any movies that you like to watch around Halloween, let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear what movies you like to see. Do you like to watch some of these movies? Do you like some of these those classic monster movies? Or do you like to watch, like, you know, the classic slashers, the current ones? Like, what do you like to watch around this time of year? It's a good time to like get a little scared. But that being said, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell to be notified for our next top 10s list. And I also want to know in the comments below if you would like me to do a top 10 like Christmas special kind of thing around November. So for December, let me know in the comments below for that as well. I will see you in my next top 10s list. But until then, thanks for the views.